Welcome to the Swam podcast. I'm today's host, Coleman Hodges, and joining us today, we have got NCAA champion, NCAA All-American, and perhaps the newest backstroker coming out of the California Berkeley Golden Bears. We are sitting down with Gabriel Jett. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, Coleman. Thanks for having me.
This episode of the Swam podcast is sponsored by Commit Swimming, SwimSwam's exclusive team management software partner. Since 2015, Commit has been providing coaches with swimming's leading workout management software. And now, Commit has team management software too. Commit wants to help you make the switch from Team Unify to a simpler, more powerful solution. Their onboarding and customer service team will walk you through every step of the way. Check them out at commitswimming.com to book your demo today. That's COMMIT swimming.com. Is it Gabe or Gabriel?
Gabriel is what my mom prefers. So if you want to be on her good side, I'd stick with Gabriel. Gabe is easier, but you know.
Fair enough. Then I'm going to stick with Gabriel. I don't want to get on Mama Jet's bad side.
No, you don't.
That is not what I'm about. But you, as I alluded to, you just competed at the Minnesota Invite a couple weeks ago. You had some great swims there. You swam a lot there. Both backstroke events, 200 IM, 5 free, 2 fly, 2 free. You were doing everything. So first of all, I am curious. The first time I ever talked to you was at the Minnesota Invite, and you were a freshman.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. I interviewed you at that meet. I think you had just gone, I don't know, something fast in the 500 free or the 200 free. But you were a few months into college. I'm curious. I'm going to ask you to look into the mind of Dave Durden. Why the Minnesota Invite? It seems like Cal goes to that. They go to that meet. They like that meet. Why Minnesota, and what is does Dave say, hey, this is what we're shooting for heading into this meet?
That's a great question. And it's funny. Like I had a few random swimming friends at that meet, like some guys on UNLV and some other teams. And they also asked me this. They're like, why are you guys here? Like, it's the Minnesota Invite. I think just like you said, like looking into the mind of Coach Dave, like his whole plan for us for this team, at least this year, his larger plan, obviously for the past 4 years before this year, was to qualify swimmers for the Olympic team, and win medals. But this year, especially since it's just a non-Olympic year, college year, his goal is to win NC2As. That's the only goal. There's no other thing that matters. So in a season like we're having right now, where yes, there are mid-season meets where there are higher profile teams and maybe quote better races or faster racing, to Dave, the things that matter right now are details and racing really, really hard. Like those are the two things that he's like, okay, if we can do those things anywhere, then we'll be fine come March, come a big competition like ACCs or NC2As. So like I think for our team to go to Minnesota, which is like, it's a smaller, maybe less shiny and big and, well-known mid-season meet. There's teams there that are great swim teams, but not, they're not going to, it's not going to simulate the same races that we get at the end of the year. Still, to go to a meet like that in the freezing cold, with a bunch of teams that we don't get to race often, and to execute details and to race really hard, that's what Dave wants. That's the only thing. So I think it was good. I think I was shocked with how well our team did. Not like I didn't think they were going to do well, but like usually we're kind of like a really grind in the fall and get broken down team, and we still are. But I think the level of competition at Minnesota this year allowed for at least some younger swimmers to step up into finals that they usually wouldn't be in, and to like really be like, I'm gonna put something out here and swim really fast. And on top of that, we had a lot of our faster guys at World Championships, which again puts younger guys on A relays or B relays that they wouldn't normally be on. So as far as Dave's plan, I think it worked out pretty well. Our team went really fast across the board. I was pretty happy with the way the boys went. So yeah.
Absolutely. That was great insight. Hashtag Dave's plan.
It's all Dave's plan.
No, I mean, I think that makes total sense, especially if you've seen how Dave Durden and Berkeley seem to operate over the course of an NCAA season. And it's, man, what an NCAA season, and what a potentially an NCAA championships we're going to see at the end of this season.
Yeah.
But for you going into the Minnesota invite, I'm guessing you were planning on swimming a lot of those races, and knowing that, you might have a double in prelims and then only one race for finals. But what were you heading into Minnesota with in terms of expectations or goals, or just thoughts on how that might go for you?
Yeah, it's that's interesting. The answer is interesting. I took the longest break away from swimming that I've ever taken after Olympic trials over the summer. I realized, like, at Olympic trials, I was like, I haven't stepped away from the pool for longer than like a week, maybe like 5 days since like high school. Because I mean, just joining a team like Cal, obviously a swimmer like myself, it's like, you go through the NC2A season, and then once NC2A is over, maybe take a 3-day break, maybe a 2-day break, maybe less, get back in and train for the Worlds that summer, or train for the World Trials that summer. And for me, it's been, finish the summer season and then, get right back in and make sure I'm in shape for the fall. So, because obviously the goal was, the Paris Olympics. And so after Olympic trials, obviously I didn't qualify for the team. So I finished up that meet, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to step away. I'm just going to step away from swimming. I acted like a non-athlete for, I want to say it was 2 months. It's a really long time to be out of the water. And I didn't bike. I didn't run. I didn't do a push-up. I didn't do anything. I got slow and fat, and I got to take a vacation with my family and my friends. And like, I was just happy to not be an athlete for about 2 months. And that was really helpful, obviously, and healthy for this. And so coming back into the fall, into a fall season, it was hard, but like, I remember my first day back on deck, I walked up to Dave and I went, all right, Dave, 2 things, or maybe I said 3 things. I was like, first thing is I just got off a 2-month break, so I'm really fat and really slow right now. And second off, I want to do exactly what you want me to do this year. It's my senior year. Like, do with me, like, whatever you want. I will go anywhere. I will swim anything. I will train anything. And then I think thirdly, I said I want to do the 200 IM this year instead of the 500, but but I don't know if he's going to grant that wish. But I said those 2 things, and Dave was like, all right, like, I hear you. I have that information now. And he's been, like I said, like, I've just been going along with Dave's plan. That's consisted of a lot of distance training, a lot of kicking, for me, pushing my underwaters. So the newest thing, I mean, I can talk about my summer and or my summers for the past couple of summers, if you want to.
Please do. Yeah.
It's like, there are like 1,000 things that like allow me to swim fast. And I think I've had 100 conversations with Dave about this, and figuring out what I want to do moving forward in swimming, because obviously you don't want to train as intensely as I've trained for the past 3 years and not make the Olympic team. It's like a reality of the sport. It's really hard, that not everyone can, qualify for the meets they want to qualify for. But in my head, I've gone through, this 4-year cycle, with Cal now, and I've gotten a lot out of it, and most of that is just information. So like, meeting with Dave after my long break this summer, we were like, okay, what can we do with all this information, with this 4 years of information to, to figure out what to do moving forward? Cause over the summer, I didn't know if I wanted to swim until the next Olympics or not, swim
Mhm.
after college or not. I've now decided, with talking with Dave and talking with my friends and my teammates and my parents, like all of that stuff, I'm going to swim until 2028. So that's cool. But like, attacking this season, or not attacking, getting back into this season has been like, let's remember what allows me to swim fast, like what helps me swim fast. And it's, there are so many factors, mental and physical, and, all the other things. But I think I lost touch of some of those things over the past couple of summers. So I think, and this is just, um, again, information and something I've learned about myself, is that I kind of veered off in a few different paths over the last couple seasons, where I mean, this is the truth. The truth is, my fastest year was my freshman and sophomore year. Like I was fastest those years, long course and then short course. Long course after my freshman year, short course my sophomore year. Those are
Okay.
still from where all my best times are from. And if I think about what I was doing then versus what I'd been doing the past couple of years, the approach has been a little different. So like that was a piece of information that Dave and I had to like kind of step back. Again, the break helped me with that.
Mhm.
Not swimming for a really long period of time helped me reflect on that. And we found out a couple things that we want to reintroduce back into my swimming, which like we thought were markers of when I was going my fastest versus when I was not. One big thing, the biggest I think, is my underwater kicks. So that has been my like one goal. Like Dave's not about doing 1,000 things at once. He's about doing one. So like my one goal has been to do really, really, really large amounts of dolphin kicks at really fast speeds. So I've been doing almost entirely distance training this fall. I'll do a 500 set on Monday, and I'll do 5 kicks the entire set. And then on Tuesday, I'll do a 500, a couple broken 500s, and I'll do 7 kicks the entire way. And it's like we've been doing that and building on those kicks. And so heading into Minnesota, actually heading into ASU, which was one of my first times back in competition, I was like super curious as to what I could do with my like new underwater kicks, which I've always had. I feel like I've always had pretty okay underwater kicks. But like over the past couple of years, I've kind of strayed away from at least pushing them consistently in workout and like implementing them in my races. I've focused on a bunch of other things, which like in an Olympic cycle, you focus less on your underwater kicks. You might focus more on your over the water swimming, et cetera, et cetera. But if you look at my 200 butterfly, like my fastest 200 butterfly, my 154 from a couple of years ago, my dolphin kicks were at their highest, like fitness wise.
Mhm.
And that bleeds into the butterfly stroke, and that also might help my freestyle stroke. Who knows? All these things. So with this like fall, like I only had a couple months of like really like training that I was like confident with, because most of my time since Olympic trials has been either out of the water or in the water going really slow and rebuilding a lot of things. So ASU was really good. I experimented with adding more dolphin kicks to each of my races. I had a pretty good 2 free there. I was pretty happy with that. I did 7 kicks off each wall for the first time. Like again, adding to those numbers, playing into my strengths. And then so Minnesota was a similar thing where Dave was like, all right, I'm gonna have you swim everything. You're gonna be really tired. We don't rest for Minnesota, so that's great. I'm like, all right, perfect. This is gonna be a 4 days of workouts. Like this is gonna be a dolphin kick workout over a week. And yeah, so Dave signed me up for those doubles. And the main reason was to just see what adding more dolphin kicks to each of my races would do. So first day relay, do my 2 free. I think I split 132 something there, maybe 132 flat. 7 kicks the whole way through. I used to do 5. So when I went my 130.3 last year at NCAA, it was 5 kicks every wall. When I went my 130.7 or whatever, I went sophomore year, 5 kicks every wall. This year it's 7. So I mean, might be more. Who knows? Seven's work.
Yeah.
So we're doing that, and then the next day I had that little double. Plan was to a final in the 500, which like the Minnesota invite was basically a Cal dual meet this year. So I just had to like beat a couple of my teammates to make it into the A final. So a final in the 500. That was a nice little warm up. I think I went 420 something, 424 or whatever, and then ripped it all out 200 IM. So that was about 10 minutes of swimming in between, and then, ripping all out 200 IM. That was really fun. I think I went 141 there. So like I said, I'm just begging Dave to put me in the 200 IM this year. 141 doesn't score any points though, so we'll see. We'll see. That's Dave's answer to me. I could go so fast into 200 IM, and he'd be like, "Well, that doesn't score me any points." So
brutal.
Honestly, like if we're thinking about it, yeah. But that, like my approach to Minnesota was basically let's see what I can do. So it wasn't like let's put all my eggs into Minnesota and see what times I can pop. That's never our approach. It's more what can I do by sticking to my stroke count and my kick count that I've been practicing all fall. And I think that resulted in some pretty okay swims. More happy with the consistency across the board. I struggle with that throughout 7-session meets. Is all sometimes I'll have a good. This is it's also something I'm aware of. Sometimes I'll have a really good 500 and a bad 2 free the next day, and or vice versa, and or really good relay, but my individual is not so good in it. Again, fitness, dolphin kick fitness are like the 2 main factors that are going to allow me to have a good 7 sessions. Come NCs, it's going to be a battle of Cal, Texas, Indiana, and who can score more points, per capita. It's like which guys can like sneak into B finals, which guys can go from 3rd to 2nd. And so for me, I can't afford to have a bad swim. I do 3 events and most likely a couple of relays. So for me to be on all of those and score as many points as possible, I got to be in good shape. So that was our approach to Minnesota. Yeah.
Whew. I just want to applaud that answer. I mean, I could. That is an answer I can sit back, sink my teeth in. That was beautiful. I really appreciate all that insight and all the reflection that you've done for yourself on yourself to be able to eloquate it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been. That's like, if I think about like my fall, it's been like 70% reflection, like 30% swimming, which like on paper it's fine. I'm doing a lot of swimming, like I really am. But it's a lot of figuring out those pieces. So yeah, thank you.
That's great to hear. I do want to point out one thing. 2024 men's NCAA's 16th place in the 200 IM out of prelims, 142.0.
Oh, come on.
So I mean, technically.
Technically, I score points. Not as much as Dave wants, though.
You're right. Yeah, fair enough. When do you think that decision will get made? So okay, let me ask you this. Coming out of Minnesota, I've got some times here in front of me. You were 44.5 in the 100 back, 138.3 in the 200 back, 141.9 in the 200 IM. I believe you were 416 in the 500 free. 132 plus in the 2 free. I honestly don't know what you went in the 2 fly. I'm sorry.
I was 143 something in the morning. I just swam it after a 2 back.
Yeah. So moving forward into the rest of this season, January, February, and March, what do you think your event schedule might look like? For dual meets, for a meet like ACCs, and then obviously for NCAAs. I know you probably don't know for sure, but was there a discussion about that?
Dave's style is discussions about things like that consist of Dave saying something and you nodding your head and agreeing. So after that meet, it's funny. Like this is always it's always a push and a pull, like with athletes want to do versus what Dave wants to do. And like obviously Dave's the smarter, wiser. He's the greatest like swim coach in the whole world. Like obviously he's the one who's right. But like so I'm always trying to tug at that and like get answers out of him. But I remember like last session I was like, oh well, Dave, like we got to figure out what I'm gonna swim in March. And he's like, I'll figure that out. Okay, you know what, you're right. Like it's always like, okay, good point. Like so to answer your question, I'm not going to be putting any mental energy into figuring out what events I can do. I know it's a chess game. I know I could maybe score less points in the 200 IM than the 500 free. I also know that the 500 free makes me really tired. I know that my 2 free is really important, but 100 back could also put me in better positions. I know we've got 2 guys on our team who go 44, 3 now. Shout out Evan Petty. We've got 3 guys who go 44 on our team, Bjorn and Destin and Evan, now me. And it's like, yeah, well, got to figure out who's going to be on that relay, got to figure out who's swimming what the last day, et cetera, et cetera. 2 back 138 is okay, but I can A final in a 200 fly. So it's like, I know there's all those moving pieces, but for me, it's like, I'm just going to keep training. I'm going to keep doing distance group. It's I just train with distance group, and I do a couple mid practices a week. But that's where I find my confidence is being in good freestyle shape. So I haven't changed anything as far as training goes. I'm probably not going to change anything as far as dual meets go. I always swim a good amount of events at dual meets, and like bottom line is it's whatever the team needs. So I don't care how my ACCs or NCs goes, as long as I'm doing the most I can for the team. And if that's doing a 5 free, 2 free, 2 fly again, like I always do, then I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. So yeah.
Nice. What is training with Cal's distance group like this fall for you, especially compared to the mid group, I assume, that you were in before?
Yeah, it's great. Like Noah Yanchulis, our coach, our distance coach, I'm not even kidding. This guy, he's like the future of swimming. He's so good. He's such a good coach. Like I can't even sing his praises enough. He's just on top of everything. He's so passionate. He takes the time with each one of us. I'm not a full-time distance grouper. Like the milers would not. I actually don't know. I need to talk to them. This is a discussion. A relationship. It's a little up in the air. Because I like to think of myself as a distance trainer, but I'm not one of those. I'm not Matthew Chai. I'm not doing 10K in my workouts. I'm getting up there.
Who seems to be having a pretty excellent season, if I'm not mistaken.
It's really good to have him back on deck. He's an unreal trainer, and he loves to race. He loves to race. He loves to beat people. And I think come March, he's gonna kick some tail. So I'm really excited for that. But back to the distance group, it's been great.
Yeah.
So yeah, in years past, I've done a mix of maybe only doing distance group on like Mondays. Like my freshman year, I did D group on just Mondays, and then I did like our Tuesday test set. I would do butterfly most of the time, or like 200 butterfly, 200 freestyle. And then I'm doing butterfly Wednesday, mid freestyle Thursday, kick set Friday, fast on Saturday. Like that's our little cycle throughout 5 days. And I think, freshman year I was doing a lot of mid. Sophomore year I was doing more distance. Last year I was doing mostly mid, with a few distance thrown in there, some distance long course mornings. And this year it's been mostly up group. So like our up group is sometimes our up group consists of like everyone down to Keaton Jones, like 200 guys. And like Ziad, a 200 backstroker, that'll be like the bottom end of our up group, and then it'll go all the way up to Matthew Chai and Tyler Kopp, our milers. And then sometimes like a Monday, it's just our 500 group. So it's anyone who does the 500, me, Keaton, Daxton, Trent, Tyler, Chai, everyone's in there, Robin sometimes. And so just going through the week with that group. And so I'm with Noah most every day, and going through the week with that group is like, it's heaven. It's so much fun. Like the group we have there, the abilities, the different abilities training wise that everyone has, it's like, it's great. Like I just go in there and I can have a great race every day. Like just Monday afternoon, for example, that's our 500 set. So every week without fail, Monday afternoon, we're doing 500 pace. And it's like, 4 lanes over is Keaton Jones, who's an insane freestyle trainer, like unreal. He's gonna have such a great year. I mean, obviously he's coming off, finishing 5th at the Olympics. He's an okay swimmer. But Keaton's his walls are pretty bad. His walls are really bad. But he's an unreal swimmer over the water. So for me, it's like, oh, how far away can I get from Keaton on these 500 water kicks before he catches me? Because he will catch me, because he's a nasty trainer. And then, 1 lane closer to me is Tyler Kopp, who's got wicked underwaters. Like, same as me. We're going to be holding holding kicks for an entire 5 free set. And then you got Chai over there who's, just going to build and build and build and build until he's just pushing 50s at the end of the set. It's like, it's a really good group. It's a dynamic group because we have guys who do the 200 and 500. 500 is the top of their range. And then you've got guys who do the mile, 4 a.m., 500. So, just the Monday afternoons, coming in on Tuesday and doing distant, like I've done a few good suited up distance sets with, Chai and Tyler, and coming in and doing those sets. It's really good. Our distance group, Cal distance is not like, maybe as storied as other programs, but I think this year, like, the personnel we have is pretty impressive. And I'm just, I'm proud of the work everyone's put in this fall, because, that's our big block. But, it's a great group to be a part of. So, yeah.
That's super cool to hear about. I'll never forget men's NCAAs in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
When Dave came in, Cal had won the NCAA title. Dave came into the interview. Someone asked him a question about, like, oh, what does it mean? And his answer was, I never thought that that like our momentum or our NCAA title would come off of the back of a Cal miler, because like Jeremy Bagshaw went a time that got third out of like the slow heats. I mean, that like
unreal.
It's like, Cal distance, not unstoried.
not unstoried at all, but definitely not. It's not like one of our weapons, but like. At least in my 4 years of being here, we're like a sprint / relay / 200 team. But to have a group that this good this year as we do, just within like the 500s to the 400 AMs to miles, it's very exciting. It's exciting for me. I'm like the old senior. It's like I'm excited for these kids to come in and start working. So
absolutely. On that note. It is your senior season. It's last year competing for Cal at NCAAs and just throughout the NCAA season. As we said, you've done a lot of reflecting this year. I guess just outside of your own personal swimming or trying to get back to this place you were with training and competing, have you been able to reflect on just your time as a Cal Bear and your time as a Cal swimmer, and perhaps the growth you've made, not only just as a swimmer, but as an athlete, as a person?
That's a great question. Yeah. Coming back, my house, there's 8 of us here, almost our entire class. Jacob Soderlund, he lives a block away. He basically lives in our house. We're all best friends. There's 9 of us in our senior class. And for everyone coming back at the end of the summer, you've got 3 of the guys in this house coming back from Paris: Robin, Ziad, and Jack. The rest of us are coming from all over, coming from jobs over the summer. For me, I was in Berkeley most of the summer. Everyone coming back together, we kind of like we've all agreed that this is our senior year, and we're gonna be pretty grateful for every single day we get. Like this is, to me, this has been like. By this I mean Cal. Cal has been the greatest privilege that I've ever gotten to be a part of, and I can't even start to say how much I've learned through this time. But for me being a senior with no 5th year, this is it for me as far as college swimming. Thankfully, I'm gonna swim pro afterwards, so I get to hold on a little longer. But as far as actual college swimming goes, like it's been so much fun and such a huge part of everything I am as a person that, like, at least for this season, like we've agreed as a class to be like, we're going to wake up every day. Don't care if it's 6 a.m. Don't care if it's 8 a.m. Don't care if it's raining outside. Like, get up with a smile and seize the day. Cause this is our senior year. This is a big deal. Not for any other reason other than, we want to be like, very in the moment. When you're younger, when I was a freshman, I thought I had all the time in the world as a Cal Bear. And 4 years goes by faster and faster each year. And, now I'm like, oh man, like I'm about to go to my last OTC, like my last winter training as a college Bear. It's like crazy to me. So just, it sounds all, it sounds sad and sentimental, but like, just gratitude. Being grateful for every day. I try to wake up and just be like so forcefully happy to be there. Like it's like 6 a.m. I go to the team room. No one wants to hear me or anything. And I go in and I go, "Good morning, everybody." And it's like, yes, like, I don't care if, everyone else is grumpy. Like, this is my season. I'm gonna enjoy every second of it. So I guess that's been my approach.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I think that's a great approach. And I feel like gratitude is never a bad approach. I appreciate that being a mantra and a perspective that you've got. Speaking of some of those teammates, we saw Dare, we saw Jack Alexi just compete in Budapest.
Oh yeah,
both had pretty great meets. Walking away as world champions. What was it like? Yeah, just to get to see some of your fellow seniors and Cal Bear teammates kicking butt overseas.
Dude, I've been in pretty big competitions before. I feel like I've been in pretty big A finals that there's a lot of energy. I'm like twice as nervous watching Jack swim and Dare swim. I'm like, I can't like think. I want to throw up. I'm like in my living room watching them swim. And that's just, I just get that way watching any of my friends swim. But like, especially this time. But like, I knew they were going to go fast. It's short course meters. So Americans have an edge, it's funny, like, not to trash on him, but like Jack's walls are not as great as, someone like Destin or, Dara or whatever. But it's funny because he just destroys everybody off the walls when it's like a short course meters meet. Because, he's used to getting over at NC2As and a short course yards pool. It's so cool. Like I talk about Cal being a privilege. Like it's a privilege for me to be friends with someone like Jack, someone like Dare, any of these guys in my house, because they're so different from me. And they do things in ways that are sometimes better and sometimes not better than the way I do things. And to exist with these guys and live with them and practice with them every day, it's the greatest like learning environment ever. And so, yeah, watching Jack swim, his 100 free is so good. He's so good at freestyle. Like, talk about trying to remember how to swim and piecing back together my stroke. I'm like, I just look to the right, just look at Jack's stroke. And so, yeah, watching all those guys swim for me, it's a really big joy. I love watching my friends race. I'd rather watch them race than race on my own. That's not true, but I love watching them race, and I learn a bunch from them, the way they move through meets, especially on such a high level, like the world stage for guys like Jack and Dare and Trenton to go there and compete for USA. Like, obviously that's the biggest, the biggest stage that you want to be on. And so it's like, it's funny FaceTiming Jack in between sessions and in between days and just catching up and like, then turning on Peacock and he's racing and breaking world records. It's a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. No kidding. That's that's very cool. And I'm glad that they had you as a support back home.
Trying my hardest. Yeah.
Well, Gabriel, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and catch up.
Yeah.
Last question. What are you looking forward to most on this last OTC Christmas training trip as a Cal Bear?
Oh man. The entire thing. OTC is great.
Start to finish.
It's just like there's nobody at the facility. It's us. Stanford women are there too, actually, but it's just us, and it's just we're all hairy and gross and tired, and like because we no shave for the entire camp too, so everyone's just disgusting looking by the end. I think we do a couple suited sessions at the end there. I think I'm excited for those. Yeah, I'm excited for the dining hall food. Can't wait. Never get tired of it. Yeah, just excited for the whole thing. I think like we do a lot of like movie nights and poker nights up there because it's the only thing to do, and those are some of my favorite memories. Just the common room, after afternoon practice, hanging out with all the boys. That's the best thing in the world for me. So I'm excited about that.
You've been listening to the Swim Swam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take Swim Swam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.